I'm gonna tell you a quick story, bro, that, I've told probably back in the day, but it's worth telling again, because it's right on the topic you're saying. So game five, there's two outs, there's one out in the ninth, and I'm coming up facing Adam Wainwright. He's closing, right? Wainwright's closing. And I come up against him, and we talk about the World Series and the atmosphere, and
he
talk
was
about
nasty as a closer.
He was nasty, dude. He was 98 with a nasty curveball changeup. So he had starter stuff, but a nasty closer. He was 23 years old, 22. So, when I look back at this, man, I tell this story now from the lens of the me versus me concept of, okay, I come up, there's one out in the ninth. St. Louis is 2 outs away from winning the World Series. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not gonna be the second out here. Like, you're gonna have to go to hell with me right here. Seriously, we're gonna have to go to hell together before you get me out, right? And I remember getting there, first pitch, he throws me a fastball. I think I swing and miss. It starts to get a little loud in the crowd. Second pitch, I think he throws me a changeup. I swing and miss again, bro. I remember stepping out, Chinch, in St. Louis. The roar of this crowd was so deafening, dude. It started to ring my ears. So I stepped out and I was like, why are my ears ringing? Oh my God, I've never heard a roar like this in my life. And I remember being like almost intimidated for a second, right? And so I think of it this way when I look back. The roar of that crowd, 60,000 people. 60,000 people ringing my ear in a deafening way. And all I could hear was their voices. And then all of a sudden, bro, I said to myself, you got this. Because I always think of this, you don't rise to the occasion. You sink to your level of training and habits. You don't rise to the occasion. You don't just rise to the occasion. You sink to your level of training and habits. And the voice in my head started to overpower the 60,000 people. Seriously. And the millions of people watching. But the 60,000 people that were ringing my ears for a second ago, the voice of my head growing up, saying to myself, no. You got this. You've taken the swings since you were 14 years old, right? You've lifted the weights. You've read the books. You've done the meditations. You have the perspective. You know the process. Get back in the box as you versus you. Make Adam Wainwright a pitching machine. Slow the game down like you've done a million times before because you've trained for this moment and your habits are so good and your routines have been so good. Get in that box and go dominate. And the next pitch, I remember he threw me a curveball down and I took it and I got the 1-2. I was like, okay. I stood out and got back to my process that I've been doing since I was 15, 16 years old. Stuff I learned from Harvey Dorfman. All the training that I did in the cages by myself, night after night at University of Richmond. And I get back in the box, I step out, I go through the process, deep breath. Harvey told me, breathe or die, get back in the box, boom. I step in the box, okay, I'm gonna hunt the heater. He's just thrown me a heater, a curveball changeup. I'm gonna hunt the fastball, look middle away, react in. Bam, he throws me a heater up and away, I get him 2-2. I don't hear anyone anymore. All I hear is my voice. My voice is the only one talking to me. It's incredible when I look back at this. Those 60,000 people that are still raging, bro. It's the most incredible party you've ever seen from these people. I don't see any, all I see is Adam Wainwright. I get back to 2-2. I take a deep breath because I know my training, my process, I've mastered it. I understand that it works if I work it, right? It's me versus me at this time. I step out, deep breath, I get back in, hunt the fastball, look middle way, react in. Bam, Wainwright throws me a changeup, 3-2, I was like, I got him. When I got back to 2-2, I knew I had him. When I got back to 3-2, I got him. I got him right where I went. Now he's a rookie, and he's missing bad. Now he doesn't know, as a veteran, I know when you miss bad, you're nervous. You don't want to make a bad pitch. So you're not just missing, you're missing bad. So I know in my inner trust of myself, right? That's what confidence is, right? I trust myself so much to know that, like, I've been here before, right? So I come back, I step out 3-2. He throws me a 98-mile-an-hour heater. I hit the hardest ball I think I've ever hit in my life. Rocket. right over the second baseman's head. It ends up hitting the wall. Bam! Ricochets the corner. I get a double, get on second base or whatever. But I go back to that at bat because I think that at bat for me in the World Series and what it meant and the voices. The voices. How many times do we hear other people's voices telling us who we should be and how we should live our life, how we should do this? But the whole point of you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to your level of training and your habits and routines. And so I think about that. Like, we have to tell our own stories. We have to have our own perspectives. We have to trust ourselves. We have to do the work so that when we get into situations that are tough at times in life, we got to look at ourselves and say, I got this. I got this. So, bro, I just tell you that story because I look back at that time in the World Series, and that at-bat for me, of all my at-bats in my career, might have been my favorite at-bat because I'd never heard a ringing in my ears like that from 60,000 people and was able to get myself back into the moment.
You get the applause for that, dude. I've heard that story before, but I've never heard you tell it like that. I'm shaking right now. I'm like trembling right now. That was freaking
incredible, man.
Look, Stu got so fired up. See Stu over here?
Stu, you're loving it too. Stu, stay in the moment, Stu.
Stay in the moment.